I can look at my ex and see when you're live as well.
Yeah, it looks like we're streaming, buddy.
Yeah, you're in, man. Hey, guys. Sorry if you jumped in a second ago and we started going live. A little technical difficulty, classic stuff. This is Sovereign Men. Me and my buddy Sonny reconnecting after like many years of not being in touch, talking about Bitcoin, family, faith, mindset, AI, all stuff to do around building towards being a sovereign man. And yeah, I'm loving these conversations that we're having recently of the last couple of weeks. We're normally going to be on every Thursday around 8 a.m. Eastern time. Today we're doing on Wednesday because tomorrow is my wedding anniversary. And then next week is Christmas, but we'll be back on New Year's Day on the 1st of January, 8 a.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. in the UK. Bro, what's going on?
Wait, did you say wedding anniversary?
It's my wedding anniversary tomorrow,
How many years is it going to be?
15.
Oh, wow. That's a big deal, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
You gotta kick us off with, give us some secrets here. How'd you make it to 15? I'm sure a lot of people are wondering. That's great.
You must have been married as long as me.
I'm at 14.
Yeah.
But okay. It's your anniversary, so you're under the spotlight.
I don't know. Don't know if I've got any tips. Like, we're not great at doing that, like, whole date night thing, like every week date night. Like, we don't really do that. I mean, when our kids were in school, we used to do a lot of dates during the day because, like, nighttime for me, I'm kind of starting to fade out around nighttime. So I don't know. It never really hit for me perfectly, especially as the kids get a bit older and they're going to bed a little bit later. The evenings get like really sucked out. So we really value having a bit of time away. So we're going just stay in a hotel for one night. We're going for like somewhere that's got like a sauna and an ice bath and do all that and just like, I don't know, just be together. Maybe switch my phone off for the whole time and just try and focus on each other because I can get super distracted. But I don't know what the like secret is. I just really like my wife, and I feel that is kind of that's kind of really helpful. Sometimes I hear guys talking about how they're having trouble in their marriage, and I just feel like you just sound like you don't like your wife, and you know, and I don't think that's a reason to like separate from each other at all. I think it's just like I think you need to spend more time together and just like have fun and enjoy being together more. Yeah, I don't know if I've got very many profound tips about marriage. I think I'm just really lucky that I'm married to Bex and that she's really chill. She probably got more about me, I think, how to manage people like me.
I like that. You guys met, what was it? How did you guys meet?
We met at a club.
At a club. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, it works. There you go.
I used to be kind of embarrassed about it when I said we met in a club. But now when I say we met in a club, people are like, oh, wow, retro, real life meeting. Like, yeah. How did you guys meet?
We met at a conference, at a robotics conference here in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
I was working for a company called Quanzer. Cara was working for our distributor down in Colombia at the time. And she came up for training and she got a lifetime of it. I don't know what to say. We did something fun. I remember before, within the first month of meeting one another, we actually interviewed, believe it or not, like as many people or as couples we could find that had been together for like 20 years plus.
Hang on, sorry. When did you do that?
This is like, 15 years ago when we first met, 14 years ago.
Wow.
We were just like, hey, look, we like each other. We want to make this thing work. Let's find examples of people that have made it work and ask them, well, what's their secret? And we literally surveyed like as many people as we could find. And we distilled their answers down to 3 things that to this day we talk about and try and remind each other of. And believe it or not, and by the way, I like conversations like this. Like I said, I'd rather be talking about Bitcoiners' view of the world and how we're living our lives as opposed to just talking about 21 million Bitcoin and Shaw and all this kind of stuff, because that stuff, I mean, everyone's talking about it already. So
carry on then, man. So what were the 3 things?
Yeah, so 3 things. So the primary one was it sounds kind of obvious, but respect. Right. So people that had made it that far, there was this like underlying level of respect that was just like clearly there. And it's easy to slip up on that one, but that one resonates the most, I would say. And whenever we start to we're humans and we start to sway away from that. We try and remind one another of it. The second was mini missions, right? So kind of like what you guys are doing over the next few days, I guess. Just having little things, right? My wife's really into like carpentry and building things. And so, whatever it might be, I think having a sequence of like mini missions, maybe it's a vacation, maybe it's just dance classes or whatever it is that you do together, but having something. And then the final one was, again, sounds a bit obvious, but just having fun, right? All the couples that made it that far, they just reminded themselves to have fun. And I think a lot of people kind of forget that one. But that's cool, man. No, I think we've touched on it in the past episodes as well. Like having a supportive spouse is it's a superpower. It truly is, and it helps you big time.
Yeah.
So what do we got in store for today, Miles? What are we talking about,
dude? I mean, it kind of jumps into a similar vein, really. Is low time preference versus spending and enjoying now. And I guess I'm interested in what your view on this is, particularly as people who have been in Bitcoin for a really long time and obviously have some level of low time preference. I really think about sometimes when I'm about to buy something, I think, that's going to, or someone tells me they bought some car for like some ridiculous amount of money that, a sports car doesn't have any utility. And I'm like, whoa, that was like 20 Bitcoin. That is crazy. I sort of price it in Bitcoin now, or maybe it's 25 Bitcoin since I last talked about it. But I don't really think, like I'm not going to buy this coffee because that could be a bit, some sats. But I do think, I really want to position myself for the future and not be one of those people that just think, I'm going to spend now and just like enjoy my life, because that's the kind of way that government money, currency, I mean, no one believes that the pounds in their bank are going to be worth more in 10 years' time than they are now. I mean, even if you have no economic understanding, most people understand that stuff's going to be more expensive in the future, so you should probably buy it now. But when you're in the Bitcoin world, you can get programmed into thinking, don't spend, buy more sats, make sure you've got so much, to the point where it can be detrimental to your family life and your enjoyment of spending actual money as well. So I don't know how you balance those two things, because I do want to have more Bitcoin in a year's time than I do now. But how do you balance, like, we just need to spend money on this holiday, we just need to spend money on this stuff with the kids? I don't know. And also be responsible about the future.
I mean, I'm going to share a couple of things. I don't know if I'm like the prime example of someone who's been living it, because I've been in Bitcoin for a very long time, and I often can't help but think that I should be having a lot more Bitcoin. But just to kind of go to your earlier point, I mean, it is pretty jarring when you look at, oh my God, that iPhone I bought in 2014 could have bought me 100 acres of land today or something like that, right? It messes with your mind. Look, I think we live in a world where it's all about consumption, right? Like everybody's just buying shit, and the government and the world's telling you, like, just spend all your money because the value of money is going down anyway. So live your life now. So I feel that just the fact that Bitcoin acts as this like polar opposite kind of, beacon of hope and light, and that's like pulling us towards like, hey, look, maybe don't go as crazy with your money. Like the value of money can actually go up if you pick the right money. I think it's like this nice tug-of-war, and it keeps us balanced, if that makes any sense. And I'm pretty lucky in the sense that my wife's not so into we've got to go clubbing and we've got to go drop $1 bazillion on fancy cars and fancy hotels. We have a modest home. We take a lot of joy in raising our children and going for walks to the park and, hitting the gym and just doing things that don't cost, stupid amounts of money, but are like absurdly fun. Like I said, going for a walk with your family can be a lot of fun as well, right? And so we've kind of trained ourselves to really appreciate the little things in life. And look, we recognize that we are still at a point in our lives where it's about grinding. Like I look at my calendar today and I'm in back-to-back meetings till like 8 o'clock. And that was the same thing yesterday and the same thing the day before. And, but at the same time, I really enjoy what I do as well. And I don't look at it as like, I got to work today. I got to do a live stream with Miles. It's like, I get to do a live stream with Miles, right? Like, so it's energizing and fun. And so I don't know. I mean, I think I just feel like, I definitely feel the pull. I have a lot of close friends that have told me, Sonny, just liquidate all your Bitcoin. Like there's no point in holding on to it. But, over time you realize that they're probably not correct. And, it's better to just hodl as much as you can. And I do see Bitcoin as like a one-way street. I often say that, I don't plan to ideally use my own Bitcoin ever. I think the best exit plan would be no exit plan, one that, finds its way to your kids' hands type of thing. And it's like more like an emergency fund, if anything. And we've used it as such, and and I think it's kind of like, it's done well. But I'm not going to lie, there are times in life where push comes to shove, and especially if you've chosen like the entrepreneurial path like we have, it's there are a lot of ups and downs, and sometimes like the really, really lows can be Bitcoin can help you through those times, right? Because if you do need to sell, you can, and you can survive type of thing. So I just love Bitcoin. I think it's given me so much, and more than anything else, it's given me the ability to do what I want, which is priceless.
Yeah, dude, I never would be on a call like this 4 years ago. I would not have had, at this time of the day, I just wouldn't have had time to think I could schedule this out regularly. And it's not that we've been traveling last year. We've been around Southeast Asia. A lot of people have like just said, oh man, like if I bought Bitcoin when you did, I would have done that. Like, no, actually, that's not why I went traveling. It's because of the mindset that Bitcoin has given me that we went traveling. It's because I thought, do you know what? I haven't, people think I sold all my Bitcoin and like went traveling with my kids, but I was like, no, I haven't sold any Bitcoin. It's just that I know that if stuff really goes down, I can sell it if I have to. I haven't, but it gives you that kind of backup in your head and makes you realize, okay, like worst case scenario, we sell our Bitcoin. And I think that's so much better than thinking worst case scenario, we like live in a camper van or something. That's a terrible scenario, unless you're like into that. I'm not personally into that. But it's kind of a lot better psychologically to think, okay, I love Bitcoin, but I'm not going to like put my family on the breadline and not sell it. Like that's kind of crazy. But yeah, dude, I wonder what you thought about, I got really amped up listening to these guys on a podcast who saying that, I mean, he did live in an RV for like 3 years because he purchased this 170 acres of land somewhere outside Austin, and they bought it for like $1 million. And that was like all the money. They had a beautiful house before, but they bought this 170 acres of land, and they got this vision, him and his wife, to have a multi-generational family property. And they've now built a huge house on this land. They've got like 5 kids. And the idea is that every year they have a family reunion. And he's saying, right now, I feel like I'm completely stretched financially. But imagine when our great grandkids come here, and we've got like 50 of them, and they all come and say, wow, can you believe the Pops bought this land for $1 million? And that's his whole vibe. He's going to build houses for his children, like in separate places. Then they're going to have like an actual holiday home on the property as well by this lake. And he's just like planning so far ahead. Like the time preference is so low, like multi-generational. And he's not thinking, I'm going to die soon. He's thinking, I'm going to die one day. And when I do, I'm going to create this amazing life and ability for our children to be able to gather somewhere every year at Christmas. This can be the Christmas spot. It's going to be the summer holiday spot. I don't know. It just got me fired up thinking, that's cool. Like, I don't think like that. I'm just thinking I need to get a house for me and my kids. Like that would be sweet if there's a holiday home that they can go to. But to think multi-generational, 3 generations into the future, and he was a Bitcoiner as well. He's a Bitcoin guy, so it's coming from that angle. But do you think about that? Are you ever thinking like, because I know you want to grow your family even more.
I mean, it's interesting because my wife and I were just talking about this recently, is that there's this idea that, in North America or in kind of Western world, is that once you're 18 years old, you're out of the house type of thing, right? I recently read that's actually not the norm. That's not what happens. I mean, if you look at places like India and stuff, people will stay with their families for much longer than that. but I think that was probably pushed upon us for the same reason that, you know, we used to have like single earner families and all that, right? And I think it was more to like kind of increase the tax base and, you know, make us like slaves faster type of thing, right? Oh, if you're like 18 and you got a student loan for $250,000 type of thing, like it's perfect. We can kind of keep you under our thumb. And so I do believe that that we've got it wrong a little bit. You know, when I look at, again, when you kind of zoom in on kind of the North American family, it's like the mom and the dad are living together, and then you got the kids off in the other side of the country living by themselves in a 500 square foot apartment, and then you've got the grandparents like super sad and depressed and trying to find purpose by traveling the world. Yet when you look at other cultures and you're like, oh my God, people just live together. And here you have this beautiful like synergy where, you know, the children, like oftentimes they can be neglected because the parents are busy working, and then they have to hire babysitters and this and that. But what if the grandparents could just help? And now there's this sense of like purpose for them, because they're like, oh my God, like I'm getting to pass down my wisdom and, you know, spend time with my grandkids, right? So I kind of feel like the whole thing about like families separating and all that, I mean, there's some niceness to it. You get a bit of peace and calm, but ultimately I think we have it a bit backwards. And but to go back to your story, I think that's super inspirational. You know, maybe I haven't thought about it in that multi-generational lens, but I know my cousin and I, we talk about that often. It's like, how do we like build something like that, 100 acres, get the whole family together and just build our dream kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, it's definitely coming into my thought process about what am I trying to build now. And I'm really, and now I'm starting to add this. I mean, I only thought about this yesterday. Starting to add this other goal in my mind to think, I never really wanted to get like a holiday home. Like I always feel like that sounds like a lot of hassle to have another property that is not where I am. Because I've got rental properties. Like I find that quite a lot to manage those already. But to have a home, which is the sort of generational family cousin place where everybody feels like they want to hang, and you're creating a dynamic. Because maybe I don't think my sister's families, I think my wife's brothers, I don't think they're thinking about it. But if I could create that dynamic, and my children love their cousins so much, they love them more than their friends by a far. And I'm not shocked by that, but I'm not as close to my cousins. Sorry if any of my cousins are listening. I think there's absolutely 0% chance that anyone is, but not so close to all my cousins. But I probably was when I was a child, and I can see that that vibe needs to be created by the parents in order for that to continue into adulthood. I guess I could get in touch with them, but it's on my radar now to think about that kind of holiday multi-generational home.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know how much I want to share on this point here, but COVID had a huge impact on you know, relationships close to me. Let's leave it at that, where, you know, it kind of jeopardized a lot of relationships. I think people were our families were torn at the seams with different viewpoints and whatnot. And yeah, but to your point, I grew up with all my cousins. I remember, you know, those memories quite vividly, and they obviously helped, you know, kind of shape who I am today. And it's I like that. I like that vision, like that. Hey, is that the same guy that made the prediction 40K or whatever, or is this a different guy?
No, mate. This guy's not a cool. I mean, I don't know. Let's bring him on. I don't know if I would be interested in this guy's predictions, but yeah. Let me see if I can share my screen.
Sure.
I'll add this guy. Can you see it now? Has it come up?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Next. Anyway, these are the charts that I put together for Forbes a few days ago, and I'm going to elaborate on them.
I'll tell you about this guy, who he is, in a second. Let's just listen to his prediction.
So the first chart is where we are, and it's a few days on from there, and it's now come off a bit.
It's okay.
And here's a close-up. So you can see it's making either a W or it's going to go straight down. If it goes, say, under 80,000, chances are it's going to go straight down.
Okay, that'll do. Basically, after that, he just says he feels like it's 70-30 that we're going to go straight down the bottom of the W, and 30% that we might go back up to maximum 120, back up to close to the all-time high. No, this guy's not someone who I'm following for lifestyle like advice about multi-generational families, and he also is not looking like super healthy. Like I'm going to be following his health routine or anything. But so I'm not taking advice from him. He's just he's the first person I've come across who has a negative prediction, who isn't trying to get clickbait. He's not like a clickbaity guy, and he writes for Forbes. He's like quite a smart dude, and I just wondered,
what's his name?
Clem. Oh, he's called Clem Chambers. And just wonder what you think when you hear guys like that, and it's like a very well-rounded, educated understanding of markets and chart analysis. Do you look at that and be like, "Oh man," or are you just like, "Oh well, like never mind"?
I have I always kind of stick by the same line here, which is that I find it not nearly like it is, in my view, almost impossible to predict short-term price predictions of Bitcoin. To me, I equate it to like trying to find the position of an atom or something in a glass of water. Like it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to nail it down because it's moving around really fast. Yeah. But if you say, well, Sonny, if you were to heat this bottle of water up at a temperature of 90 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes, I could, with great degree of certainty, tell you that the temperature of the water is going to be higher. So I feel like the aggregate motion over a period of time, it's easier to predict, as in number go up. This is kind of my overall prediction for Bitcoin, but I think short term, very, very challenging. Now, I have noticed a pattern over this year that, you know, since the Trump mania began and everybody's just like aping and talking about, oh, Bitcoin's going to $1 million and sailors predicting 50 million and this and that. It's just, it almost felt like everybody and their dog was convinced that Bitcoin is going to go to the moon. And to me, whenever everybody sounds like they're on the same page, it's often the opposite. Yeah. So I'm not super surprised if Bitcoin keeps going down. Look, dude, like, I mean, I met you back in 2013, 2012. How many times have we seen pullbacks of this nature? 70%, 80% pullback. So I wouldn't be super surprised by it. And, you know, and someone who runs like a crypto exchange, volatility is our friend. You know, fortunately or unfortunately, I mean, greed and you know, what's the opposite of greed? Greed and what's the word again? Fear and greed. Fear and greed, or no, that's not the one I'm looking for. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. Is that like market movement? I never expected Bitcoin to be a straight line to like infinity or whatever. I think there's a ton of you know, psychology and emotions and these charts, sometimes they have a bit of truth, but they can also be, you know, super wrong. Bitcoin could just go move sideways for the next 6 months, and you know, both of his predictions would be wrong.
Yeah. For people who are listening on my socials, Sunny started the first Bitcoin exchange in India. How many years ago now?
December 2013 was when it went live, and then I bought that domain a couple years prior to that.
Okay. And do you see that then when the price is going down, numbers, or people are buying more Bitcoin, or can you get like insights on how many people are buying Bitcoin compared to how many are selling as well? Do you ever look at that?
Usually when the price goes down, it's a function of more people selling than buying, right? Like that's really what determines the price. So there's more people selling, but even when you sell on an exchanges, you know, charge a fee to go in or out. So it works in our favor. And that was one of the insights I had really early on is that Bitcoin wasn't going to be a straight line up. And, you know, I'd rather be building kind of the picks and the shovels for people to get access and to be able to sell Bitcoin, as opposed to just like taking a position and holding. That's obviously what we do personally, but yeah, from a business perspective, it made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard, but one of our competitors, I just heard this morning, I woke up to the news that Coinbase will be acquiring CoinDCX, where they just got approval from the government to acquire CoinDCX. So yeah, India is finally starting to find its way on the map, you know. I think a lot of people wrote India off for many years, but yeah, I mean, Coinbase just invested in CoinDCX at like a $2.5 billion valuation. It looks like they're going to be acquiring them soon. So yeah, we're happy for them. You know, it's exciting times, I think, for India.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool. What do you want to jump into now, man?
What do I have to? Oh, I wouldn't mind sharing the post I was telling you about.
Oh yeah, please. Sorry,
It
yeah.
kind
Tell
of
me about that.
it kind of ties into what we're talking about. But
Yeah, like
so first of
being
all, I wanted to say
please.
thank you, Miles, because I've been like I kind of create content, I go crazy with it, and then I pull away a little bit and focus on other things, and then come back to it. And so you were really, I guess, the catalyst that kind of helped me get over that hump. After we did our first episode a couple weeks ago, I've been, I don't know, just like less afraid, you could say, to create content. It's to pull that trigger is always so hard. And so so I was gonna say, like, thank you for kind of encouraging me to get going. I'm gonna share my screen here real quick. So I've been blogging, bro, every day now. Can you see my screen?
It's coming. There we go.
Is it
Is it
sharing? So I'm calling it the fatigue filter, right? So they're calling it Bitcoin fatigue. Bloomberg ran the headline today, 4th annual loss. So the idea is, again, I won't read it word for word. People can go check it out on sunnyray.com. But the question is whether. Sorry, the question isn't whether Bitcoin will recover. The question is whether you'll still be here when it does. Yeah. So I think what I'm trying to get across here is that this boring period of Bitcoin, when it is moving down or sideways, is kind of the story of Bitcoin. Like, if you look at the last 13 years, 99% of it is quite boring. And this is the real test for those getting into Bitcoin in the last year or two, is can you withstand this boredom? Adam Back, who I love, by the way, I think the world of him. He has a famous quote where he says, I think there's only usually 12 days in a year where Bitcoin does its thing. And if you're not invested in Bitcoin in those 12 days, you kind of don't see that upside. So what are the chances that you're going to be able to time those 12 days? Probably really low. So like I said, my favorite strategy after being in this space since 2012, 2013 is just DCA, dollar cost average. Is divorce yourself from emotion and just come up with a system that makes you feel good either way. Like I said, if the price of Bitcoin goes up, your net worth just went up. Oh, if the price of Bitcoin goes down, you're buying more Bitcoin next month. Yeah. So I've been, but like I said, I wanted to thank you. I'm really excited about creating content again. I am getting a bit of, I don't know what the word is. Like I do love AI, as I've mentioned in the past, and I guess that is one of our topics. And I'm still trying to find like the right balance between, my voice and AI. But I'll tell you one thing. After our first podcast a couple of weeks ago, I started looking through my drafts, and I kid you not, I had hundreds of posts sitting in my draft where I was just afraid to pull the trigger. And the reason is because I've read all these books on writing well is one of them, elements of style, made to stick. And I've read all these books on how to make your writing pop, but I could never figure out how to actually manifest that in my writing. But now with AI, you can, right? You can literally create stuff that you want, that you're proud of. Because the writing, there's such an art and depth to it, but AI does a great job. So I'm personally a huge fan of Seth Godin. I don't know if you've heard about him, but I just love the way he writes. I love that every time I read anything of his, I feel something, which is very uncommon. And so I'm, taking a page out of his book. I'm creating content. I started doing another live stream. I did one yesterday with my buddy Rajat. And so
nice.
I'm going to start doing stuff with the UnoCoin team again. And but all of it, a lot of it is really, like I said, you got me off of zero from content production. So thank you.
Dude, you too as well, then, man. I'm really up for doing stuff with other people, and I love talking to you. But I heard this thing from this podcaster I love called Chris Williamson. And some people will be like, yeah, I love him. Some people will hate him. But he has this thing where he says, all of your hopes and dreams are on the other side of cringe. And so
I like that.
Yeah, and it is true, man. Like, what is it you feel when you're scared to post something? It's either because you're worried what other people will think about you, because you're deciding, I'm going for it. I'm going to be like a Bitcoin podcaster, or, you know, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, he's the Bitcoin guy now, like whatever they might think. But it's the same when you see someone else doing something, like they decide to become like a makeup blogger, or they going out there saying, I'm going full time into property development. You're like, whoa, like, wow, you're like really going for it. You're either like judging them or you're jealous of them. And you do that to other people. So then when you're ready to go and do something yourself and put yourself out there, you're like, oh, cringe. I don't want to be one of those people that kind of tell everybody that I'm going to go for something and achieve it. But all your hopes and dreams are on the other side of cringe, and you just need to get over our cringe about ourselves. You know, you want to be like chill, laid back guy who's like not really trying to push themselves too much. Like people who really achieve interesting stuff are not like that, you know?
Yeah, no, that resonates. And I also came across an idea recently where I think it was on YouTube. And I have this horrible habit where I'll say, oh, I read this thing the other day, but I'll be like, oh no, it was a YouTube short. But anyways, I watched this thing, and this guy was talking about the importance of, like, if you're running a business or you're trying to make moves, if your entire day is just comprised of one-on-one meetings, you're probably going to fit in 8-10 meetings a day multiplied by 300 and some days. So the max number of people you can actually interact with is limited to, let's say, I don't know, whatever that multiplication works out to. But instead, he was saying you should always strive to communicate like one to many, right? So whether it's like at a conference speaking at 1,000 people, or doing kind of what we're doing now, right? Like it's quite impressive, like the number of people that sign in and watch this, and then afterwards watch it. And it gives you this, like, yes, it's fun, it's art, it's kind of effortless, it's, you know, it's exciting, but it's also, you know, I've heard from quite a few of my friends right back, hey, Sonny, I like that thing you're doing with your buddy Miles. Like there's a lot of stuff I picked up from there. And so that type of leverage, like the fact that it's free, it doesn't even like cost you millions of dollars to do this, is just, I think, too powerful to ignore. And ultimately, if you ask me, like this whole, especially I think eventually, well, we're not eventually, we are live streaming, right? I think live streaming is insanely powerful, because imagine everybody that's like driving to work right now and they just open up their LinkedIn on a red light. They're like, Sunny's face or Miles's face. Like, wonder what they're checking, wonder what they're up to.
Yeah.
All these platforms are literally pushing guys like people who are doing live streaming. So the ability to just show up in the, you know, first thing in the morning in people's pockets, like thousands, tens of thousands of them, is insane. And you know, and yesterday I did an episode with my buddy Rajat. He is crushing. He's been creating content really only for about a year, but he's so consistent, and he's killing.
Who is he?
Yeah, if you look at my Twitter timeline, I think just a couple down, you'll see my tweet with him, my video with him yesterday. But he got his channel got like within like an hour, he had 2,000 views on the interview we did.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it?
That's just insane. And he was telling me that, Sonny, you know what? On a live stream I'll do nowadays, I'll make $100, I'll make $60. I can make up to $300 on a live stream. And I almost fell off my chair. I'm like, say what? You can make $300 on a live stream? Like, I just
for chatting for
fun. And so that just means that, you know, there is like, you know, commercial value. There's ways to, you know, do shit on this. And then you're sitting at home and you're talking to a friend, and imagine, you know, and right now you and I are both kind of building up our following and whatnot. But if we stay consistent with it, I have high hopes. I think, you know, we could hit escape velocity.
Yeah, dude, I actually think, you know, I haven't made it. Yeah, I don't know when you're ever going to feel like I am a person that can tell, but I enjoy my life. I have a relative level of like financial stability. I've done some interesting things. You've done loads of interesting things. And we're like, I had a call with a guy this morning. He's got a business. He's 22 years old. He just wanted to talk to me because he'd seen me either on this or the post of the live stream on X. He was just like, hey, can we have a call? I'd really like to just ask your advice about some stuff. And I was like, yeah, all right, cool. And I just spoke to him for half an hour because he was saying, like, what should I do? I want to make loads of money, but I'm consumed by my business, and I'm worried I'm not going to meet someone. That was basically why he called me, because I think he'd heard us talking about our wives and our children and stuff like that. And he was like, what do I do? Because I've got a business partner who's like so money driven, and I I want to get a girlfriend, but I just basically can't because of the amount of work I'm doing. And we just had a chat, and I just thought, oh wow, actually, if that's a one-on-one chat with him, if we can do this and it actually provides some value to people, and they decide to, work a tiny bit less and do the things that are really important. I don't know. I feel like there's a few people out there who really need that advice. And I feel like I've not exited my business for 8 figures, but I have, the 5, you hear that Sahil Bloom thing, the 5 pillars of wealth. Can't remember what they all are, but there's like time, family, health, mindset, and money is like the 5th one. He's sort of redefining that it's not all about making money. And I feel like 90% of content out there is about increasing your bottom line, rather than you can be super wealthy in like family relationships and health and crush and be super happy. But I don't feel like there's a ton of people talking about that. Anyway, so if you listen to this, I hope you find that helpful.
Yeah, that resonates. No, Miles, you're probably one of the very few people that I know that's my age, that has kids, that has, a wife, and you're actually happy. Like,
yeah,
I have so many friends. Most, I would say, of my friends are super good looking, super wealthy, successful, yet they're struggling to find, a mate, right?
Okay.
And so, yeah, I consider, and a lot of them will tell me oftentimes, like, Sonny, you've made it. Like, you've got 3 kids at home, you've got a wife that you're happy with and you love, and you're, living your mission. And so, yeah, I feel super blessed. And, and then maybe, I don't know, in a future episode, we can try and kind of peel back the onion on that one, in terms of like, how did we get there? I mean, I think a lot of it is probably just luck, fate, maybe, universal forces conspiring in our favor for whatever reason, and probably outside of our comprehension. But maybe there is something to it, right? Something that enabled us to get there. I know I didn't take that, the idea of like finding my soulmate or whatever lightly. Like, it is something, just like Bitcoin. I studied, I had to demystify. I wasn't able to just go off of advice that my parents taught me or my friends taught me, because a lot of it is, in my view, very, very counterintuitive, just like Bitcoin. Yeah, if not more. And there are things that, unfortunately, people just don't talk about, because dudes, most of them don't talk, period, right? Like, they'll just be like grunting and Bitcoin for life type of thing. But I think there's a ton to kind of peel back there. And I think, I'm sure you and I can shed a lot of light on it. But but I also don't want to, take the conversation off in too wide of a kind of, tangent here. But I do attribute, a lot of my happiness to that. And, I've been in situations where I wasn't with someone that was as supportive, and I don't want to, call her out or anything, but it was essentially hell on earth. And you can't think about your mission. You can't think about Bitcoin. You can't, watch a podcast. You can't read a book when things at home are in turmoil. And so, I think, like I said, I think being able to find your mate that can support you, that's there through, the highs and the lows, it's super, super helpful. Yeah, definitely. And having someone that actually gets Bitcoin and, gets that vision, so you're not like constantly in a tug-of-war is I think also helpful.
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, I used to get a message being like, oh my gosh, our bank account has been defrauded. And now my wife will see like reasonable chunks of money going out, and she's like, are you buying Bitcoin? I'm like, yeah. She's like, cool.
Yeah.
That's a big change.
Yeah, man. No, it's good. It's good. Do you think Jesus would be a Bitcoiner?
Oh, mate. I think, I don't know if Jesus would have been a Bitcoiner. I have no idea. But there is that bit where he says, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, when someone's asking him a question about, should we pay taxes to the Roman government? Because they were being oppressed, the Jews, right? And he says, give to Caesar what's Caesar, and give to God what's God's. And I don't think that Jesus was giving like a tax seminar there. Like, I don't think like he was really a tax expert, right? But he's a carpenter. He didn't know anything about tax or how to avoid taxes. And, he wasn't doing that. But what was he saying? Was he saying the monetary system, which we're under here, you have to pay taxes to the government of that one? But what monetary system is Bitcoin a part of? I don't know. It's not part of the IRS. It's not part of HM Revenue and Custom in the UK. Like, which tax system? And is it just because we reside in the country we're in, we pay tax from our Bitcoin to that country? Bitcoin doesn't exist inside a country. So I don't know. Jesus definitely was aware of monetary systems other than the state implemented one, because the state implemented one in Jesus's time was the Roman state, and it wasn't always. So he would have been aware there were other monetary systems, maybe just like local Jewish systems where they're just like trading with each other. I don't know. So I don't know if he would have been a Bitcoiner, but I know that the early church definitely had a monetary system where they traded with each other, and they sidestepped the main monetary system, the Roman monetary system, after Jesus was crucified. So there's definitely something going on. And did I mention I had a buddy who became a Christian who decided to follow Jesus as a result of studying the early church, because he was looking into historical money, and he looked at the early church and how they traded with each other, and he realized they're basically doing Bitcoin in a circular economy, but they didn't have the technology for it at the time. And actually, that's how he came to faith, because he was a Bitcoiner, and he decided, wow, the early church really figured it out. Maybe I should look into the early church a bit more. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Do you have a view on that? Or you?
I don't know. I mean, I just thought I'd ask, but yeah, if I had to take a guess, probably seems like aligned.
Yeah.
I think the short answer would be probably yes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, my relationship with Christianity is interesting. I learn a lot from going to church with my wife. I've been falling off a little bit recently in terms of, going regularly, but I just feel like everything I learn about Christianity is super beautiful. And every time I go to church, though, I do feel great about it. And but yeah, I think Jesus would be a Bitcoiner. We'll see.
Yeah.
So what do you say, Miles? You want to touch on anything else, or should we bring this one to a close, or what?
Let's wrap it up with the Christmas vibe. Will you go to church on Christmas Day or between now and Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
Will you go on Sunday?
Kids are singing. Yeah, where kids are singing in the choir and all that. Cool. For sure, we'll be spending a lot of time there.
Yeah, nice. We had a Christmas carol service on the common. They have a common ground here. It's like a park, and they had a big carol service there last Sunday. It was super cool. And like hundreds of people just belting out carols. It was super Christmassy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so growing up too, my family always celebrated Christmas, even though they're Hindu. Christmas just seems like the one to celebrate. Yeah. So now it's a lot more Christmassy with, my wife involved, and the kids love it. It's a great time of year. I'm looking forward to it.
So the next live stream would be on Christmas Day, but me and Sonny are not going to do it then. We're going to take a bow out of that, because I feel that's like quite tricky to get on a live stream on Christmas Day. But the next one will be on New Year's Day, which I hate New Year's Eve. I don't hate New Year's Eve. I just don't buy into the whole stay out till midnight and just drink too much vibes. So I go to bed on New Year's and I get an absolute rush from waking up early and there's no one around on New Year's Day. I'm just like, I have won New Year's. So I'm off doing a live stream on New Year's Day. So if you want to come and check us out, 1st of January, we're going to jump on and just maybe even if we do a short one, we'll like how to smash your New Year's goals and buy more Bitcoin at the start of the year.
I would love to tackle that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I told you as well, like I've been trying this whole getting up early thing. Again, not every single day, but it helps so much, man. Owning your day is like, it's so much fun. Like I said, I love the topics we're touching on, and hopefully people are enjoying it.
Yeah, man. Cool. Well, check out Sonny. Check out his website. Your blog post coming out tomorrow. SonnyRay.com.
SonnyRay.com. I'm trying to be consistent with every day, 8 a.m. Eastern. I release the blog. I've got the next 2.5 months queued up already. So
that's so good. Okay, cool. Well, check that out. And Sonny's pretty prolific on X as well. If you want to check him out, Sonny Ray. And man, catch you guys in 2 weeks' time.
Merry Christmas. Take care, man.